Thanks a lot for that epic countdown, Sam. This is Trash Talk, the latest edition of which I'm Richard Lewis. I'm slightly under the weather. I just got back from DreamHack Tour and I was rubbing up against lots of Koreans out there, and I think I've caught some sort of Asian flu. My voice is blown out. Don't worry, I got the cure for it right here. It's a margarita. That'll fix it. Sam, how are you?
I'm good.
Like a cat.
Just been doing shit tons of Hearthstone like always. Living the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the special introduction that you did today. Just like all the overlays of everything we've ever done ever. All of it shit. So
Delete it all one by one.
yeah, pretty good. We're probably joined tonight as well by League of Legends moderators. Obviously, hi to you guys. Really enjoying what you're doing with the sub. It's going well for you. But yeah, so this is a show where you guys call in and you talk to me, and you talk to me about esports primarily, although we do it by way of whatever else is going on at the time. So we've had a pretty busy week. Where do we even start with it all? I mean, there was the whole of fucking MSI, which had some amazing stories in it, obviously. I think perhaps the standout is how Fnatic did. Just an incredible story. Their whole evolution, 4 rookies in an LCS season. They win a split. They go to Worlds and they perform like that, especially the game against SKT. That's definitely worth talking about. They deserve mad props. So if you're a Fnatic fan, you should probably call in and we can all do a circle jerk together. You've got Steelback, who, he's not going to be part of Fnatic anymore. Obviously, Reckless is going to come in and replace him. It's all been done. Where Steelback's going to go, we got an inkling it's going to be NA. So maybe you want to talk about Steelback. He's done. He's done all right, Annie. Even though he's statistically,
especially knowing after this I'm gonna get dropped. And he still plays well.
That's the thing, right? So this guy. Let me just top this up. So this guy.
I've got my own demons.
Right. This guy. He's in Fnatic. He's statistically not great, but the team's doing really well. And then it's you're getting dropped before this massive tournament, and he doesn't even give a fuck. He just goes there and plays super hard, does the best that he can, and turns out the best is pretty good. So everyone in Fnatic wants it to land right, and I'm certainly hoping that's how it works out. Again, all indications are that he could be in NA very soon. Turtle Entertainment, the people behind ESL, have reportedly been sold to the Swedish media giant MTG, that's Modern Times Group. This is a huge development in esports, and I don't think a lot of people realize quite how important this is going to be. This actually means that if this Modern Times Group do end up owning ESL, and all of my sources are telling me it's the only way the deal could be reversed now would be if there was some financial impropriety revealed, that they're at the paperwork stage. It's certainly more advanced than the Google Twitch thing was. This will mean ESL are broadcasting, esports in multiple countries, or rather MTG will be broadcasting ESL games in multiple countries because they've got access to TV stations. What do you think about that? Does it get ESL out from under the imposed monopoly of Twitch and online broadcasting? Is that perhaps the end goal here? We had DreamHack Tour, as I said at the top of the show. Fnatic beat Envious on home soil in CSGO, and Parting proves his mettle in going all of the way in the StarCraft tournament. Good performance by Gummio. Maybe one of those things is on your mind. Today, we had an official statement from Team Dignitas. Thanks a lot, Odie. Basically saying they did miss out on Helios. The kind of idea, the notion is that he's going to go do his national service now and will therefore retire from the game. Winterfox declined to comment on this situation. They gave me a no comment a little earlier today. So it means Dignitas are going to stick with that team, Sam. That almost got them relegated.
I don't know. I don't really think Helios would have made that much of a difference anyway. I think they would have had to do more than just Helios. Really? You were on that hype train that much? You think Helios would have dragged
It's not about
them
being
from
on
the
a hype
pits?
train. It's just I've still got fucking PTSD from watching a Zingy play Pantheon.
Unlucky ult there, trying to gank
Yeah.
from behind.
What he's done there is he's used his ult to flank his opponent. No, you just missed it.
Nah, he's just.
So yeah, I know we shouldn't harp on about like one bad player, but like I thought Zingy, since he went into Dignity, fucking, I won't go into it, but yeah, he wasn't particularly great, was he? I think most people would agree with that. Saint Vicious. Speaking of ineffective junglers, Saint Vicious has allegedly played his last competitive match. Never say never, obviously, in esports, but he's been around a long time. He says he's stepping down from Gravity. We've got a few ideas about who might be stepping into the breach, but certainly no big names on the shortlist. And apparently, this wasn't a massively planned in advance. It wasn't planned at the start of the off season. This is a recent development. It's kind of left the team in a bit of a awkward position by all accounts.
Yeah, it seemed a little last minute the way he just like put on his Facebook just like a 2-sentence statement like, oh yeah, by the way, this is probably it.
So it makes me wonder what's going on there. Maybe you've got some ideas. If you want to talk about that, you can just add call.trashtalk to Skype and we'll take your call. But I got to say, I'm not too sold on this being like a really long, thought out, planned occurrence. I think this has happened kind of last minute. It makes me wonder what's caused it. But equally, I've been a huge fan of Saint Vicious for the longest time. I like his attitude. I liked him as a jungler even. I like pretty much everything he's all about. And I think the scene will miss him. So I do wish him all the best. And Forgiven, literally just before we came on air, Forgiven is set to join Gambit. That is legit. He will be their AD carry replacing Pinoy for next season. So Ripperoni, Pinoy, good friend of mine. But Forgiven, Edward in the bot lane, that's either genius or a recipe for disaster. I guess we'll find out which one over the course of the season. Now, if none of those topics or anything you want to talk about, that's all right. It's Trash Talk. You set the agenda. You call in. You talk about any old bollocks that you want to, and I'll listen to it. So, Sam, I imagine we've been inundated with calls, as per fucking usual.
Always. The first guy I'm going to bring on is Bram, and I don't want to add any biases, so I'll just say what he's going to say. He just wants to talk about, in his words, the vagueness of the new rules on the subreddit and the mods dealing with feedback.
So we're doing a talk about the subreddits, are we?
It's happening.
All right, then.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? It's Bram, right?
It is. Hello.
Hi, nice to hear from you, Bram. So I'm going to give you a caveat right at the start of the conversation. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't want my content to remain banned. I'm not going to suck a dick to get it unbanned, because I think that's unreasonable. And I think the content ban is egregious and a massive overreach and abuse of their moderator position. However, that said, they did issue a list of sort of behavioral demands from me in order to get my content unbanned on the sub. This has never been made public because one of the demands was I couldn't make any of this public. So I might have to rein myself in a little bit, and you might have to do the majority of the talking on this call because I'm not really supposed to talk about the sub. Is that all right with you?
It's fine. I'll try. You just guide me through it, I guess.
I will make nodding noises and nodding noises. Nods don't make noise, although when you get my age, they probably fucking do. But you know what I mean. I will make verbal gestures. We'll see how it goes. So, look, give me your overview of the current situation.
Well, from what I've seen, I'd really like to talk about the proposed rules the mods came up with. A lot of them are either very vague or very restrictive for really no apparent reason. If you would look at it naively. But, considering the context of what has happened with you and all that stuff, it kind of makes sense, I mean, stuff like do not discuss hacks and what was the other thing? Do not discuss hacks or disallowed party programs. I actually asked about this, and your good friend Pigflute reacted to it. And he said scripting and stuff would also fall under the term hacks, which we know hacks isn't scripting or whatever. So they use very vague terms, and you wouldn't be allowed to discuss cheating or whatever. And I think if you would implement these rules on this sub, a lot of people would get very not distressed, but angry and feel censored more than they are even now. and I think there will come not too soon. People will ask the mods what their plan is for this subreddit and what their view is for it, and I think things will become more clear at that point, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, hang on. I think what I should do is, Sam, perhaps you can get onto this while I'm talking. Can you dig out the thread with these proposed rule changes in? It was stickied.
Yeah,
I
sure.
can link it.
You find that for me, and then I'll be able to look at it and go over it. But the first thing I'll say, Bram, is that oh, excellent, there we go. It's there straight away.
I have it open here.
Oh, but hang on. This is did they implement their new draft?
No, not yet. But
Yeah, what I want is the thread of the proposals, not the actual current rules. That's what I
these
want.
are the new rules.
Are they?
Let's see again. Yeah. Wait,
Oh,
did I? Yeah. This is.
Yeah, you are. It didn't look in this format before, but yeah, I think you're right. So, okay, so the first thing I want to say is I think it speaks volumes when if you're the moderators of a community and you post something up and you sticky it and you say this is what we're going to do and it gets downvotes. Now, it was sat on I think a 42% approval rating when it became unstickied. And last time something like this happened, the head moderator, Buckeye Sunday, turned around and said, oh, it's because Richard Lewis is brigading this thread. Now, I didn't link to or mention the previous one, and it still seems to me that the majority of people who saw that thread actually felt the new revision of the rules were not something they particularly wanted to participate in or abide by.
Oh.
So I don't know what excuse they've got currently for that approval rating. But I mean, to talk specifically about this point that you raise in regards to drop hacking, cheats, exploits in game.
Yeah.
I think while I would probably say that there is a valid argument that a community subreddit shouldn't be used to spread information that can be potentially damaging to the community, i.e., this is how you do the drop hack. I think not talking about it at all and pretending it isn't there is actually one of the reasons why we've got these problems so widespread. I had an altercation back over a year ago with the moderators about this. They deleted a video I made, which was called "Hacks Are Coming to League of Legends" or something along those lines. And it was showing that actually there are third-party software. Because for the longest time, whenever you said, "Oh, you're hacking in League of Legends," people would say, "Well, there's no hacks for League. There's no hacks for League." No. And of course, there were private cheats, and they've grown, they've proliferated. They're getting to the point of widespread. There's so many different ones now that it's.
Yeah, I didn't tell me about it. I'm playing at Diamond EUS right now, and it's cheat heaven, I guess.
Yeah. So I've said like the way that you conquer this stuff is. Right, we all know Riot used the subreddit basically as their first point. You know, not their website. You know, not their support. Reddit is the way to get things changed in League of Legends. If something goes front page and it can be fixed, a Rioter will come in and say, "Hey, thanks for this. We're going to fix it." They're a very reactive company. But where we're at right now is, it seems that you can't even. You know, I don't know how many threads about that drop hack got deleted, and that seems actually counterproductive to what that rule is there for. The rule is meant to be there to stop people spreading the information on how to do it, not spreading the information that the exploit exists.
Well, that's the weirdest thing I think about it. It's that you have like 4 rules that specify you can't advertise using cheats, you can't tell how to cheat, and so on, which makes sense, of course. But then you have the rule: do not discuss hacks or disallow third-party programs. Like, do not mention it, you know? It's like, what the fuck? Yeah. And I think that rule on its own will cause like lots of blowback, but you have more rules like that. I mean, another point I'd like to bring up was the fact that you had 2 Redditors who had like a huge reply to the draft and very elaborate points about this is a weird rule, this doesn't make sense. They got no response.
Risen Lazarus. Risen Lazarus.
Yeah, Risen Lazarus. Exactly. He got golded 6 times and whatever. And he has no response. And like there are lots of people who said, well, could you respond to this? And then the mods react with, well, we read the points, but and we were taking into consideration, but we would like to have your opinion. Why do you think these points are valid? Like, they react to people who say, hey, this guy has a well thought out argument. I'm not that good in arguing myself, but he knows, he's telling you exactly how I feel about the situation. And they're picking like the weaker debaters to pick their fight with, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, you know, I saw them reply multiple times in that thread. Like, some guy would be like, moderation is evil and you should all hang yourselves. And
exactly.
I think these rules are bad. And they'd reply going, perhaps you could explain why, you know, these rules are bad. And of course, this guy can't even fucking explain why up is up and down is down. He's a fucking retard, you know, this guy. So you know, let's have a debate with him. You get Risen Lazarus, a fucking final year law student who has spoken intelligently about multiple things, comes in, points out, well, you're deliberately using language that alludes to legality, you know, alludes to legal process, points out several other things, and they're like, yeah, we're not replying to that one. And then when people go, well, why aren't you replying to that one? They go, oh, well, we've observed all of the comments, we've observed them all, and we will take on board everything that it says. They've never, ever, ever engaged in a meaningful debate with anyone that's capable of having one. And in fact, actually, I think, you know, it speaks volumes that any moderator that's going to stand by like a content ban as a form of punishment, it shows what they're really all about. You know, like that they're not going to engage in any debate. They're not going to have the issues debate, and they're never going to let the community make the decisions for themselves, because at the end of the day, it's their community. That's what they believe.
I think that's what will bite them in the ass eventually, since they announced they made this draft because they wanted to be more clear about the rules and more open about the process. But when you have these examples of these top-rated comments and well-thought-out arguments and all that stuff, and it's not being debated, we have no insight how they process these feedback and stuff. And then we see the actual implementation of these rules. That will, you know, cause some blowback, I hope, I assume. Yeah. But I think the broader point is that you have, well, I think it's safe to assume you have people in the moderating team who really like to just have the power. And
no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
What people forget is that people who want to have power are not like just out to be in a position of power and like, oh, I have power. No, they're there because they want to exert the power. And when you try to exert power, that's you'll find it has boundaries, if you know what I mean. You can't do everything you want, and people who are really power hungry will try to push over those boundaries. And at some point, you will get a point, where you get your blowback and get your shit taken away from you. And I think that's what the team is heading towards if they keep.
Well, the thing I think that's particularly interesting, Bram, is, and perhaps a point no one's really brought up, is all of the new, a lot of the rules that are brought in this new draft, it's very interesting, their wording. You know, for example, in the personal attacks, they're saying it's fine to criticize people's work, not who they are as a person. Talk about how they play, cast, write, research, edit, or balance, not about how they look, sound, or how intelligent they may or may not be. And it's like, okay, that's fine. And you think that sounds reasonable on paper, but then as we've seen time and time again, that becomes a real fine line and subject to interpretation of what is criticism and what criticism crosses the line and what doesn't. And more often than not, they've actually been like, oh, hey, you know, that's a personal attack. They didn't let a colleague of mine post a video about League of Legends into their subreddit because I was on it, and I like made a joke like, oh yeah, lol mods are fucking, you know, like I wouldn't swap places with them, put it that way. You know, like if I look at what I do and the money I make, and I look at what they do, and you know, they dedicate all their time to a voluntary position. It's really pathetic, actually. It was something along those lines. I might even have just called them cunts. I don't even know. I'm drunk half the time on shows.
You probably called them cunts.
Yeah, all right, okay. I called them cunts.
Come on,
but the point is, to interpret that as a personal attack is ridiculous. First of all, I'm talking about a group, right? So it's plural, cunts with an S. So, it can't be personal by definition if you're applying it to a group. And then second of all, that's what I'm saying. It's a massive reach. Like, it's oh well, he's calling his personal attack. It's not at all, really, is it? It's an observation. It's an observation. So I thought that was interesting that they were removing videos for that. And I think it's a matter of time before it's like, oh well, if you say someone is shit at their job, now it's going to be but you didn't say why. So now we're removing that comment. So that's that's very interesting in itself. And then the other thing I thought was very interesting, no calls to action. Now you think about all the things that Reddit have done down the years, right? Yep. Reddit as a website has been very often used for grassroots political movements. There's been an ongoing war against Comcast that pretty much started on Reddit and pointing out all the shady shit that company does. Yet in the League of Legends subreddit, apparently saying we should boycott stuff is bad. And we all remember when the LoL mods removed a request to boycott playing the game until they fixed East Coast servers. That we all remember when that got removed by the moderators because it wasn't convenient for Riot because they were on holiday and couldn't respond to it. Well, that's not how it works. Now in this new draft, they're saying, nah, you can't do it. But look at the wording of it. Don't rile up the community to vote for or against something or to boycott, support a person or organization. Well, if the community deems that appropriate, why the fuck shouldn't it be used to raise awareness about a particular issue? And those rules, as I see it, are there ultimately to protect players, Riot employees. That's how they're going to get interpreted. That's how they're going to get used.
That rule is even more vague than that, I'd say. Like, you can even interpret it, oh, well, you made that point, you made this post, and you have critique on Riot or whatever, and as a result of it, we have an angry mob boycotting the game or whatever, we will remove this post because it can have this effect. Like, it doesn't say anything you have to attempt to do this, to have this fuck, I forgot the word. To have the attempt to brigade, like it doesn't include that. It's just, okay, we think it can cause this, so yeah. But let's see. There was another thing I'd like to point out. Oh yeah, the evidence part. They were really clear on that one.
Oh yeah. Don't even get me started on that, right?
I know.
Like it's hilarious, isn't it? Like, okay, I've never known a subreddit say that, like, if you say something about someone,
I haven't seen it in anywhere. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like, if you say, I've got evidence of someone doing something, this is what's happening. Okay, well, all right, you're making this bold assertion and you're doing so, in print, but we're going to need to see the evidence of this. And you're like, well, why do I need to fucking share it with you? Like, this isn't, I mean, it's hilarious given the amount of false assertions that I've made about, me and my colleagues, journalists in general on a daily basis. Never seen the moderators getting up in arms about that. Oh, you're only doing it for clickbait. You get paid per click. All of the out and out lies that are easily disprovable. But of course, if you make an assertion about an organization, like, Hotshot wanted to sign this player, well, how far are we away from being, oh, well, you need evidence for that? And again, I read the discussion and I saw the moderators saying, well, as it stands, we're going to let journalists be different to everyone else. And then, like, guys like Nazis and that were like, well, why should we be? Why can't we say the same things a journalist would? And, it's I don't always agree with him, but it's a valid question, right? Like, there's some journalists that aren't fit to bear the name. There are some YouTubers that do more investigative reporting than actual journalists do. So how long is it before we get into the territory of we actually are now saying we get to dictate what a journalist is? And that worries me immensely.
That's exactly what the problem here is, that they try to mark territory for people like, okay, this is allowed for journalists to do, but what counts as a journalist in this case? We need to have that definition if you want to make that rule. And I guess, I mean, just like the part about cheating, if you say you cannot discuss hacks, you have to define what hacks are. and they keep these rules fake in this sense, just to, I don't know, yeah, to improvise later on and just do as they seem fit when they have posts they don't agree with, I guess. I mean, the vagueness of it all is what really worries me, and I think when these rules get implemented, or even like half of them, and people actually see the effect, because you have to remember, most visitors to League of Legends don't come here and think about, oh wow, what can I do? What are my rights and all that stuff? They just want to be either entertained or complain. Those are the basic reasons people visit the Reddit.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Whoa. Okay, I'm turning down the sound. There was something.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. I was just gonna say I agree with you. Like, this is the one thing that's kind of got sidelined in this whole debate. Like, I think a lot of people think I'm fighting a war with the fucking moderators or whatever. The way I look at it is this, right? They banned me from their sub, and then they filled another fucking Reddit staff member with enough shit that they believed I was vote brigading or whatever the fuck, and got me site-wide banned. Now, at that point, that's as much winning as you get to do. You win. I can't use Reddit anymore. That's fine. But once you start saying, well, you know, we didn't like him saying things on Twitter about us, so now we're banning his content. And if he keeps saying things about us on Twitter, we'll ban all the Daily Dots content. And if he talks about us on his shows, which they religiously watch and pore over, you know, and like, no one's forcing them to be here. No one's forcing them right now to take people's names from the Twitch chat and put them up in the fucking header on the LOL sub, but they're doing it. No one's forcing them to listen to anything, but they want to hear what I'm going to say because they're desperate to escalate this. They want to fucking take my job away. That's basically what it's about. And that's what it's been about right from the start. Like, I did some stuff they didn't like, so they're now going to do something that is far, far worse. Like, put it this way, right? When I went out and gathered information on them, to find out who they were, that was because they were threatening my job. Now, if you take away someone's job, that's pretty much like one of the worst things you can do to another human being. Like, you know, if they've got families, you're taking not just food out of their mouths, you're taking food out of their kids' mouths, their wives' mouths, whatever. You know, if you're the person who generates the income in your household, you take the fucking roof from over their head potentially. It's a horrible thing to do. Like, only people who do the worst shit, only people who abuse their positions deserve to have their job taken away, you know. And I don't think that counts for me. I don't think I've done that. But that's what they're going after. They went after it over a year ago. They're going after it. They're going for it now, and this is why it'll continue to fucking escalate, you know. But I'm not. All I want is just the subreddit to be, and all I've ever wanted actually, is the subreddit to be a open forum for all League of Legends content to be discussed. And that includes stuff that's bad about Riot, stuff that's good about Riot, stuff that's, stuff that's happening in the game, things like cheats, the underbelly, as well as the, gold and shiny shit. And the mods have fundamentally disagreed with that stance. And I think that stance is at loggerheads with everything Reddit's about.
Yep. But, yeah, you discussed it last week about the structure of Reddit, actually. How do you say this? Causing this to happen, I guess. And I think the only structural way to change this is to, I don't know, have the mods democratically elected or something, you know? You can't have them elect each other if you want to avoid this kind of behavior. But you have to really implement that with the whole community standing behind it. And for that, you have to get this should have to get way worse for that something similar to happen, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is, there's heavily moderated subs that out there that actually succeed and deliver what they're doing, and that's fine. But the one thing I would say is they're heavily moderated, but at no point do they abuse that position as moderator to prevent things that are relevant to discussion. Like, a lot of people bring up history or science. They just, as long as it's a credible source and it's a source of information, they don't care where it comes from. It can go up there and be debated. If people try and subvert that and fuck with it, yeah, they'll ban them. Yeah, they'll remove comments. But the main point is they're not deleting the information that comes into the sub.
Yeah, and they are following their own rules, and they're really strict about their own rules. That's
exactly.
I guess
they're
the
consistent.
difference. Exactly.
They're consistent across the board. They're not letting Riot staff get away with doing the things that they're demonizing a journalist for, and that's the other point as well. You know, all the heavy moderated subs that I participated in back when I was a Redditor, they were all consistent in their application. It didn't matter who you were. So I think there's lots of problems, but again, it boils down to this. You know, like you said, the community, all they want is the content, right? They want to be entertained. They want easy and free access to the content. As long as they're getting that, or think they're getting that, they're never going to go to another subreddit. They're never going to say, you know what, we've had enough of this bullshit. And that was why we created Riot Free LOL. You know, we want an alternative.
I think the other really important reason you overlook is to complain. That's what people really like to do on this subreddit. And when you stop it, when that gets restricted too much by the mods, which really seems to be happening right now, I think the backlash will come sooner than you. Then it turns out to be, if you know what I mean.
Well, look, I've never pushed, and I'll say this again. I'll go on the record. I've never pushed for the mods to be removed. Actually,
no.
But what I will say is that a subreddit needs to be run. Like, the community is bigger than the whims and the moderators, and if I believe what I'm doing is relevant to League of Legends, banning it to try and exert pressure on my finances is pathetic. And none of the community are going to sign up on that. Like, there's plenty of community members who fucking hate and despise me. They're the guys who downvote my shit religiously anyway, and probably have about 10 accounts each, just for the sole purpose of that. A bunch got banned shortly before I did for engaging in those practices. Now, those guys can decide with their clicks already to potentially hurt my business. You know, they can go around and fucking spread misinformation about me seemingly without recourse, and they get to hide behind an alias while they're doing it. But the reality is, the fucking vast majority of people just want to see the stories I'm breaking, and I don't see what's so bad about it. I don't see the harm. Like, the incarnation reveal. Let's imagine that no one else reported that. Let's say it just went completely unnoticed, because Cloud9 made it clear to me that we're not going to announce this. We're not going to put this on our website. We're going to stand by you. You're the official source of the information, because they don't approve of the ban. And they've already said they're happy to keep it that way until the situation's revised. And other organizations have come forward. Team Dignitas did it again today.
No.
These people are supporting, me. I've done right by these guys in the past. Whenever there's been important issues that need highlighting, that benefit the whole industry, I'm the guy writing them up. So the stance seems ridiculous. It seems actually, contrary to their other standpoint, which is, hey, we've got this responsibility to the community. That's why we moderate the sub. Well, if you've got a responsibility to the community, then let the community see what it wants to see. And that includes breaking news about the teams that they support. It's just that simple. So, anyway, do you have any final thoughts before I move on to the next caller?
Well, I think we should also keep in mind that these mods are on the internet, like... it's the basic principle of when you're on the internet and you're only communicating with text, you don't imagine it being a real person behind it. It's only that text you see, and if someone says something hateful, you only get a pure hate reaction back. And I feel these mods and a lot of people in general on this Reddit are kind of lost in that behavior on its own. And yeah, it's kind of weird and kind of scary, I guess, to witness how degrading this is getting, if you know what I mean? Like the content ban and all. It's weird how little power can go to your head.
Yeah, I got to say as well, though, I've seen it a bunch of times. Reddit's a great social experiment, I think, for proving how carried away people can get just by having, like you say, that little bit of power. And I think when most people sort of stand back and take stock of it, they're like, yeah, actually, this is, we're acting ridiculously. So, yeah, But anyway, look, it was great to kick off the show. It was a topic I didn't particularly want to talk about. I mean, shit. So my Twitter's just blown up. It's quite interesting, in fact. A LOL subreddit moderator deleted a thread talking about the values of Reddit, and they've said those are the company values, not ours. Which is interesting because when you use a subreddit, you kind of agree to adhere to the values of Reddit as well. Yeah, so I don't know. Look, I think it's going to run and run. I find it embarrassing at this stage, frankly, but I won't expect any change. I'm sure they'll dig their heels in, and it'll just go on like this for a while until some adults step in. I think that's how it's going to need to be. But anyway, Bram, really appreciate your first call. Really appreciate all your thoughts. Thanks very much. Hope to hear from you again in the future. And have a great evening, whatever you choose to do with it.
My pleasure.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
What was it? A suave farewell at the end there as well, Sam.
Yeah. All the way out. Smooth.
Yeah. You were strangely quiet during all of that.
Yeah? What, instead of... I never chirp in on the calls. Come on now.
You do now and then.
I'm about to drink.
Exactly. I was going to say, like, we really got to get that soundboard made for future shows.
I'll do that for next show. And I might set up some, like, subscriber alerts and stuff in the bottom left on the overlay. Just where there's a free space. Or maybe donation messages. So if you want to, like, add in a quick point, you can just show it on the screen. We can add black words, blacklisted words.
Black words? What does that mean? What
blacklisted words. Blacklisted words, so they don't show up.
I don't mind. Okay.
Let's try it. Social experiment. We can have more of an active call instead of it all coming from you.
All right. Anyway, I've messaged you. Have it prepared. Let's get another caller ready.
As if we're doing this.
We are doing this.
Alright, next we have Grim, and they want to talk about sexism in esports. Deep one.
Well, this is a deep one, Christ. A deep late night trash talk, just what I need. Like, I'm dying on my ass and I'm full of margarita. What could go wrong? Hi there, Grim. Can you hear me, buddy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no, pleasure for you calling in. And like I said, it's a big topic. It's a big topic of discussion. It's actually something that's been on my mind a little bit lately. And I was maybe going to address an issue, but I never got round to it because I've been doing events. So what's on your mind? Sexism in sports.
It's something that I've noticed the past years, actually. As I first came into esports watching, was it Halo 3 and Halo Reach? And there I could really notice, like, since gaming has been a very male-dominant source of entertainment for almost forever, and then basically I noticed there was almost no women anywhere, and I got kind of curious, and I started watching StarCraft 2, and I noticed that there were Sharks and Rachel, and they both only worked in hosting. And what I've noticed, almost years after, I started watching a lot of League of Legends, and almost everything that females only do when they are present is they either host or maybe sometimes interview or maybe they were cosplaying or something. And when there are women present who are actually intelligent and can take part in like analysis and casting and maybe should, I think that for Scoring and maybe Kelsey Moser are some great examples who got completely ignored when riots started to take over the China region.
Yep, and that's right. Yeah.
So I just find it peculiar that almost there are no women present, and when they are almost being ignored, and maybe they can host or something, but they're never truly a central part of the entertainment.
So I'm gonna say something. I've said this before, but no one believed me. All right, and I'm gonna say it again, and I imagine it will be the same reaction. But this is absolutely true. And the only way I could verify these things as being true would be really damaging to people's careers, obviously, especially with the way Riot are. So basically, the the thought process of Riot is that they don't like female casters or analyzers because they believe they don't think a female can talk authoritatively about the game to their audience and be listened to. So they elect not to have them. And in fact, it's no secret that they prevented. I believe this has been talked about multiple times in public. It's no secret that they prevented Froskeran casting for ESL.
Oh,
that's already in the public domain. I'm not telling anyone.
I actually had no idea about that.
Yeah, so they ESL have been keen for the long. Like, say what you will about ESL, they're a progressive company. They they've got Pansy doing the CS:GO and World of Tanks and everything that she does. I think they're very keen to diversify, and I think Froskeran's proven time and time again she's an engaging personality. She's opinionated. And I think good to listen to, very knowledgeable.
And when she was cast,
go on. Sorry.
And when she was casting before the LPL, I didn't actually watch LPL that much, but I just did a little bit, and when I watched it, I was actually really entertained by her casting. I was really impressed, and then she just stopped and couldn't continue for some weird reason.
Yeah, well, basically, okay, so this is pretty much how it went down with Froskeran. So ESL wanted to hire her. Riot were like, no, that can't happen. A combination of their weird views about women casters combined with, she's an edgy personality. You know what I mean? That classic, keep your nose clean on social media. So unfortunately, she's been overlooked for a number of gigs right now. And that's pretty much Riot's doing. Conversely, there are male hosts out there who have been told actually Riot prefers females in the hosting role. So it's like it cuts both ways, right? So Riot have very clear, distinct views about gender and where people are assigned, and I hate that. I fucking hate that. In fact, I'll tell you. We were doing a dream hacking tour, obviously for the StarCraft. And we've got someone called Smix. I don't know if you know her.
No, maybe I would recognize her face, but not really.
She's great, right? Okay, so she recently just signed to handle partnerships for Twitch, but she does hosting. She's bilingual, so she does all the translation when she's talking to Koreans, and she does the interviews.
Oh yeah, I may recognize her if I were to see her.
So imagine how valuable she is to any production. Like for me, she's the default go-to person for StarCraft especially, but I'd like to see a transition into other games, Bilingual, really smart, great on camera, can host the stage, and that's a very difficult thing. I've done stage work. It's not my forte. I actually find it very difficult, and that's someone who's done, stand-up comedy for a long time. So she she knows the game. And what I was saying to DreamHack was, wouldn't it be great if we could get her on the panel for a little bit? Like, actually have her, do some analysis. And DreamHack were like, actually, that's a really cool idea. And, I DreamHack have had female people on the analysis desk before in the past. But why is it that there's so many women in prominent positions in esports right now, and yet I never see them in a position where it's like, tell me your opinion about the game. I never see that.
Yeah, exactly. It's always like, maybe you can host or maybe you can interview here, but when it comes to, you don't really know anything about the game or anything, so you leave that to the man almost. I find it ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah, so the only way it's going to change is, for I would say organizations to basically step up, and it's going to be rough. Again, when Smix, I say this fucking individual who's so good at her job announced that she was signing for Twitch, there was just a bunch of fucking it went up on Reddit, and there was just a bunch of fucking hate messages about her, and I've made this mistake actually. In fact, here you go. I'll retract something I've said. I remember I had an argument with Rachel Quirico on Twitter, and I think a few other females in esports. Actually, I'll just say women. The female sounds so alien. Sorry, my bad. You know, we were arguing on Twitter, and I was saying, actually, if you want a job in esports, being an attractive woman will get you a leg up. It was called the leg up argument. It was quite famous. It blew up. And I look back at that now that I'm a bit further on in the industry and a bit further up the chain of command. And it's actually completely wrong. It's completely wrong.
Really?
You might get fast tracked into a particular job, but in terms of breaking through into something with a bit more substance and being taken seriously as an authoritative voice on a subject, it's really, really hard. And I see that and realize that now. And I was completely wrong before. That isn't to say I've gone full social justice warrior, but as an educated man, I've revised my position. I realized what I said was really ignorant. So I think it's very important that, you know, we do start actually accepting the women that work in esports as having valid and equal opinions. And the only way that that's going to happen is if they get put into valid and equal roles. That can be casting, that can be analysis, you know, that can be whatever. But, you know, there are people out there that can offer opinions about the game, about the scene, about the players, and organizations and tournament organizers in particular need to utilize them.
I completely agree. I am not really sure what more to say.
It's the rarest thing on Trash Talk. We've hit agreement. It doesn't happen often. Well, okay, look here. Let me ask you a question then, because I think you do make some good points, and I want to talk to you a little bit more. What could you name some female, you know, personalities you would like to see in, you know, better positions to be utilized more? I mean, we've talked about Frosker quite a bit. Is there anyone else?
Yeah, I talked about Frosker and Kelsey Moss, who it's incredibly intelligent, but that's the problem. I don't really notice anymore. I guess it's how I was doing the CS:GO, and I haven't really watched that much CS:GO. I'm just a little bit into the scene, and not really. I'm mostly League exclusive by now, and you don't really notice many at all, actually.
I mean, you know, I recently did an event with Rachel Quirico, and I know she's often held up and sort of championed as one of the, you know, almost like a pioneering force.
But doesn't she almost only host? Or...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people forget she did work as a journalist. You know, I think people forget this. And I
had no idea.
Yeah, you know, people think of her as the, you know, on stage presence. Actually, she's, you know, again, a very intelligent and articulate person, has worked in a journalistic role. In fact, when Razer did their academy, she was the journalist. She was the representative, you know, for journalists. She was the, like, mentor for aspiring journalists in the Razer Academy, which didn't work out as well as it could have done. I may even have tweeted something derogatory about that at the time because I was quite a bitter person and not making any money. I certainly hope I didn't, but I might have done. I won't rule that out.
Wait, so if she is originally a journalist and quite esteemed one at one point, maybe you could say, and she's only hosting almost today, doesn't that actually say something about the scene?
Well, yeah, I think it does. I think it really does. I think, look, what I will say is, and this was the consensus we came to back when we had the original argument, and that is that being attractive, you know, of either gender is going to help you out in an industry that's becoming more and more image obsessed. And it's actually quite sad because, you know, the amount of professional players that I know who are a little bit overweight or whatever, they have esteem problems. Obviously, they're getting berated every day for being, you know, fat and, you know, whatever. So many of them are on steroids. Like, we're quite a young industry with a very young... Yeah, loads of them take steroids. I mean, the amount of professional fucking Counter-Strike players I know who've juiced because they want to get rapid results because they're on camera all the time. And all everyone ever talks about, they don't say, oh, sick headshot, mate. They just say, look at that fat, greasy cunt. And that's it, you know, like that's what you're exposed to every day. You're just in an echo chamber of abuse. And it's like, it's really hard to sort of you know, get yourself away from that. It can affect anyone. So I know a lot of players who actually have taken steroids and supplements and everything else to try and make themselves look more physically presentable. because it is a glamour based industry. It's an image based industry. So the that goes both ways, But equally, what I will say is the difference is you can be an unattractive male, and people will listen to what you've got to say, or people will respect your skills. That isn't a luxury females will ever have. That isn't a luxury that any women in esports will have. And it's really fucking sad that that's the case because, if you look at the Chinese scene, the most knowledgeable people about it happen to be female. They happen to be women, and they're not being really utilized all that much by anyone in League of Legends.
Well, I guess Thorin got his show with Friscorin. That's it, almost. What I know.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man. I think we've all got a lot of growing up to do. Like, I know there's a lot of anonymity on the internet, and it's like we can get away with saying anything, and that can be fine sometimes. Look, some of it can be funny, some of it can be harmless, but actually, we need to be in a position where we can present people and present people's ideas, and we can judge them on their merits rather than slapping them down based on race, gender, looks. All of this other stuff, which ultimately shouldn't really get in the way. I've said this time and time again, the one good thing about esports is because it's all about online communities, we don't need to bring all the exterior baggage into our space.
And yet that's coming forth now.
Yeah, it has. It has. And it's sad. It's really sad, And the saddest thing is, I've probably been part of that at some point, inadvertently, not maliciously, but because I didn't really interact with enough women in esports to see what they kind of come up against, and I also didn't really know enough. I wasn't at a high enough point in the industry to see the barriers that they face. So I've contributed to that false dialogue, the idea that they have it easy. They just dress the women up like fucking Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we'll sponsor that. We'll sponsor that tournament because why wouldn't we, right?
Make esports look glamorous. Go on.
Apparently, we went off air temporarily.
Did we?
Yeah, maybe the mods are.
I have a new IP, a new VPN, a new headset, and a new modem. So run at me, XJ9.
But anyway, so the point I'm making is ultimately that I think for the longest time, like there's people who come in and they have this guise of like, oh, we're supporting women in esports, but in actual fact, it's really gross and exploitative. The female CS tournaments are fucking terrible for that.
Yeah.
Like I remember Pink Zinich. A team, they put out like a fucking sexy calendar, and it's like,
we love esports, yeah.
Yeah, and then in League of Legends, you had the whole sirens thing. It's like, come on, like we gotta be, why can't we just have people just be fucking people play it? Like, it was unreal, like fucking how bad the female CS tournaments were.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I don't think we should limit anything. If that's what you want to do you? If you could make money doing that, why not? Fuck it, rip off the nerds that are willing to pay that money.
Yeah, and that's fine. Again, look, if women want to do that, right, that's their fucking choice. I'm talking about it, but the problem is when the men then turn around, the male sponsors, the male marketers are turning around and we're only going to sponsor we're only going to sponsor the most attractive players in a game, and I've literally heard that, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I've heard people who sponsor CS teams saying, yeah, it's just as well we've got the best looking players though. And you're like, what the fuck? And I've heard it the other way. I've heard managers go, yeah, we've gone for the players who can actually play. It's just a shame they're so ugly. Is this real? Is this a real, like, do you think I'm going to like tacitly agree with this conversation? It's the worst. It's like when you're talking to a UKIP voter, right? And all you've said is, we should probably have a sensible conversation about immigration at some point. That's it, right? That's a reasonable thing to say, isn't it?
And then he goes, what the slur is going to be.
Couldn't agree more with you, Rich. Send them all back. And you're like, what? What? Dude, no. We're not on the same.
Calm down.
We're not on the same side. Like, we're not on the same side of the argument. Like, is this really happening? I know it's a real complex issue, man. Like when I started working with people like Smix Moore and Rachel Moore, and I saw directly, and then when I started talking to people in the industry that were like, "I'm female, I went for this job," and guess what I got told? Guess what my feedback was? It was like, "Yeah, okay, there is actually a problem."
Well,
there really is.
to prove that this isn't a problem for males, how good looking you are, Richard has an upcoming sponsorship this week, and obviously his bald fat mess of a life didn't affect that one. So whoever this sponsor may be, they're obviously some great people.
Hey, I'll have you know that I have been to the gym
Once.
twice this week.
Fuck off! You haven't even been home twice this week. Oh, you went to the hotel one. Nice.
So, just saying.
I'm ready.
We'll have an abs. We'll have an abs video on YouTube like in no time at all.
Yeah.
So
if you just go back 20 years from when Richard was 18.
When the calendar is out, Sam.
Fuck yeah, that would be disturbing.
And you do a joint calendar. Yeah, me do a joint calendar. So I'm January, and I'm there ripped as fuck. But ripped, right? And then it comes to February, and it's just you licking your own boot. We'll see who's
mine sell more, bitch.
Right, anyway. I think at this point...
we'll take a break?
Yeah, we need to take a break. I need to take some fucking painkillers with this margarita or something. I'm so ill. Let's really push it though.
I've got my own demons.
Yeah, let's mix some codeine and some margarita, and then we'll do a show where I've just got my eyes rolled up into my head.
I see things.
Aliens. Right, we'll do that. But anyway, we're gonna do that in like 5 minutes. We'll see you in a bit. Peace.
Oh, because some came in the mail today.
Yeah, I did.
These nuts. Got him! Got him!
Hello, and welcome back to Trash Talk. Yeah, this is an esports phone-in where you get to phone in and talk about stuff. We've had lots of good, interesting calls so far. We're looking for more. Sam, do we have anyone?
Yeah, we do. Next is going to be Soren, and he wants to talk about why friendship isn't magic and forgiven to Gambit.
Okay. Did you say Thorin?
Did I? No, Soren.
All right, good. All right, that's all right.
The cameras are just gone off. Reset them. Yours, rather.
All right. Sweet. Love Skype.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy.
Okay, seems it works.
Yeah, it does. How you doing, Soren? You okay, man?
Yep, all fine.
Glad to hear it. So, let's talk about the first point, which is friendship isn't always magic.
Oh, I so hate that bullshit. I feel like it's coming over from My Little Pony. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's just like everybody is like, oh yeah, with friendship they can be a better team. Well, if that was the case, Samsung Blue would have win seasons 4 and not Samsung White.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. Like, there's been so many successful teams down the years in all sports where people like aren't, best buddies. They some even actively hate each other, but they just make it work for the sake of professionalism. And then you like hear all of this stuff like, oh yeah, that they're friends. They'll never turn on each other, and that is the secret to a good team.
Yeah,
what if they're all
sure.
shit?
And I think in most teams, if you look after they disbanded, most likely you will hear stories where like, well, yeah, I didn't get along with that guy and we fought constantly, but on the stage we could do it somehow. And I'm just like, why do so many people still think they are best friends? It's a sports. They want to win, and they don't give a shit who they are with.
I mean, I had it particularly bad when I announced the super team, and everyone was like, well, yeah, Froggen would never leave his bros behind. There's just no way. And it was like, actually, what was going on behind the scenes was like, Froggen's like, I'm one of the best Western players of all time. Like, I want to fucking go to Worlds and I want to win tournaments. Like, I want to be recognized as the best. And these guys are holding me back. So it's time for a new team. And then when I broke that story, everyone was like, there's just no way. Because they're all friends. And it's like, it's a sport, guys. Like, they can talk to each other. Like, they can go partying whenever they want. They can talk to each other whenever they want. But if they're not, if one player is significantly better than everyone else, the friendship's going to be strained, You gotta make an adult decision to succeed.
Yeah. And I think it came at least partially, at least some people understood it in the moment. The old CLGEU was ripped apart and was said like, okay, Froggen said, I want to create a team that I can win with. But I think so many people are still in this circle. And see, look how many are still saying nobody should leave Gambit. And they were like, Pinoy, no, he won't get out. And some still say it about some teams that are in the process of right now taking new players.
So just before we get on to the point where we talk about Forgiven and Gambit, can I ask you a serious question, Soren?
Sure.
Do you smoke weed?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right, just checking, because a lot of people seem to think you might be baked, and I don't mind. I like it. I'm drinking. I'm having a drink. It's all good. It's you're totally welcome on the show, baked. I just wanted to make sure because I didn't want to make any maybe complicated points. We could just talk about your favorite color or something if that works out for you. It's entirely up to you, bro.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm completely sane right now, and I'm not baked in any way.
Okay, well that's good. All right, so let's talk seriously then. Let's talk about Forgiven and Gambit. Good move or bad move?
looking at the bot lane, I think it's a good move. Looking at the overall team, I'm not quite sure about it.
Well,
so I think
okay.
they will be able to. I think Forgiven needs a lot of resources from all over the map. And I think this is what the team will be able to provide him. The question is, can they back him up after that? And this is where I'm concerned about it.
Why is that then? Tell me why. Because obviously I'm a platinum scrub, so I don't know much about the game. So you tell me.
Don't worry, I'm silver, so I'm far worse.
Right. Well, explain it to me anyway. I must have got boosted, right?
The problem is, I think Forgiven needs a team that is mechanically crisp to be motivated all the time. And I'm not sure if their mid laner can hold up with that. And I'm not sure about Cabochard too.
I don't think Cabochard's going to be the problem. Actually, I really like him as a player. I think he's solid. For me, I think the question, you sort of touched upon it a little bit. The question comes down to whether Forgiven can, be in that position where, like you say, he can take all his resources without it hurting the rest of the team too much, that he can put the team on his back. Now, I can imagine Forgiven in this team being a lot happier because he's got Edward in the bot lane. We all know how super aggressive he is. That's what Forgiven really wants. He wants an aggressive support, somebody who can really help get him fed in the early stage, smash their lane and then transition, into that sort of mid game where he can really tear people up, and then obviously late game where he's got the mechanics to be unstoppable. Now, Gambit overall, it is a massive step down, I think, from SK Gaming.
Yes.
That's the problem. It's about how good can Gambit become with Forgiven. And I'm sure Forgiven's thinking actually about Worlds. That's the kind of player he is.
I don't think he will aim for anything lower than Worlds.
Yeah.
If there's League in the universe, he would aim for that.
Yeah, absolutely. But the question is, can Gambit get there? Do they have enough in their locker? Right now, I'm not too sure. Well, you think yes? You think they can get there?
No, I think there is the same problem.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. So it's real tough. I mean, there's a risk that if this goes badly for Forgiven, I don't know if he'll think about retiring. Okay, so do you know what? I like you so much, Soren, and you were so honest about the smoking weed thing. I'm gonna tell you something that I know, and this is just my job as a journalist. I don't think this has been talked about anywhere. He almost went to CLG, I think.
Oh, this could. Yeah, okay.
There was some talk about this.
I mean, they would finally have the double lift that they always wanted.
But they had some serious talks about him maybe going out there and jumping into double lift shoes, and it didn't work out. It was on and off and on and off and on and off, and it didn't work out. And now he's obviously with Gambit now. So I know that sounds crazy, but again, guys, trust me. I'm not Jacob.
I think he's more.
It's a hot shot might leave me alone. Let's hope.
I think he's more happy with Gambit. I'm not sure he would be able to cope with with the way CLG works, not as the players but as the organization.
Yeah. I mean, it's really. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's got more potential. I think Europe has got weaker at that bottom end, and I think him joining Gambit alone is enough for them to really distinguish themselves as a top half team. Now, how good they are overall, because let's not forget, everyone else is going to be making improvements as well, right? Everyone's rosters have all been signed and agreed now. We're all sort of sifting through everything that's been going on. It's going to be interesting to see how it, how it works out. But yeah, so I think you're right. I think he's in a better place with Gambit. It's going to be interesting, actually. So here's the other point. It looks like CLG will take on a 7-man roster.
Are they finally going the SKT way? I'm waiting for that on a European team.
Yeah. It looks like they're going to be the first to do it. Looks like they're going to bring in, obviously, Poe Belter, which, I mean, that's not even a secret at this point, right?
Yeah.
And then I think Stixay from CLG Black is going to get bumped up into the main team. And then it'll be like a Keith and Piglet situation. They'll be swapping them in and out. So this is like all multiple sources have said this. That all indications point to this being true. So it's a crazy situation, and I also kind of understand that if that was what was being discussed on the table when Forgiven was going to go out there, I also understand why that move didn't happen. I can't imagine Forgiven playing second fiddle to anyone.
No,
really.
never. He wants to play, he wants to win, he wants to fuck people up. And even though he says he's doing it with a team, he wants to do it himself. He wants to see people at his feet.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. So, what do you think then overall about Gambit? Where do you think they're gonna finish? Like, is Forgiven enough to make them a challenger team?
For that, they would have to be top 3, right? The question is, I think it's the same question as it was. Oh no, I think it depends on SK. Can SK work once again up to the performance that they put on the last 2 splits? If they can't, I think they will work up their way to one of the first 3. If they can and put Gambit under them, I think they will keep 4th or somewhere there.
Okay. Well, yeah, it sounds pretty good. You know, I agree with you. I really want them to do well. I've liked Gambit for the longest fucking time. You know, I really want Forgiven wherever he goes to do well because he's had such short shrift. Some of it's his fault, but also I think a lot of it is the community aren't really grown up enough to deal with personalities like his.
Oh,
and I think Gambit will be able to, you know, perhaps give him a platform to be that carry AD carry where he can say and do, you know, and do whatever he wants. So
don't get me going on the community.
yeah. I won't. I won't. I think we've done enough community bashing for one night. So look, any final thoughts, Soren?
No, I don't think so. Well, I just hope Elements gets the level up this split again, but I don't see them that well.
Well, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I think everyone knows their roster, right? We're all pretty confident. Yeah, you know, JWoww and Dexter.
Dexter again.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So I think. Look, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I love Dexter. I think he's a great fucking player. I think what happened to him with CLG was just bullshit. Like he just got scapegoated to fuck. Then he had to spend a split just outside of it. Outside, you know. Yeah. So
I'm not worried about Dexter. I'm more worried. I don't know how JWoww will perform. I think when I saw him, he was never really stable. But I might be wrong about that. But that's at least what I remember him.
Yeah,
and
I think he's, again, not to say the word potential. I think he's a solid pickup. I literally think he'll be able to shine in an Elements team where you've got, you know, a good mid laner and a good jungler and everything else. Like I think he'll look a lot better this split. I'm really looking forward to seeing him play, actually, because he's been talked about as like having this real huge LCS potential for the longest period of time. I think now it's going to be his time to shine. So I definitely think he's a player to watch going into the next split.
I hope so. And I want to see him succeed because I'm a old school Froggen fanboy. Since forever.
Yeah, exactly. I think everyone's a Froggen fanboy, right? Like he's been around for so long, he just wins you over in the end. But look, so I'll let you go. We're gonna take one more caller, Soren. But I really appreciate you calling in. Great to hear from you. Glad you weren't stoned, but maybe you can call in when you are stoned, and that'll make your call 10 times as funnier, and that'll be amazing. So great to hear from you. Hope you call in again sometime.
Have a nice evening.
I will, mate. You look after yourself.
And cut him off.
There you go. Yeah, nice one. Cheers, Sam. So there you go. What a top boy. He wasn't even stoned, but he just had a nice nature about him, just giggling and laughing.
I have a feeling he will be later tonight. Sounds like he's getting ready.
My kind of fella, I think it's fair to say, my kind of guy. So, any thoughts on what he said? I mean,
What, Gambit
You know?
having a backup?
Yeah,
forgiven?
Gambit forgiven. Gambit forgiven.
I don't think he actually needs that much backup, to be honest. Like, he doesn't, like, obviously he needs support, right, if he's gonna carry the whole team, but I think it's not a hard task. Like, saying, alright, you need to play support champs isn't exactly hard, is it? You just save the Lucian or the Graves, whatever he's playing. I think they can do it.
Alright. Just before we do go to the next call, I wanna give you something. Wait there, I'm gonna give it you. Can you bring this up on screen for me? So I don't know if anyone follows this guy. He's called What the Fuck Rango ? Exclamation mark on Twitter. And obviously we were talking about our potential trash talk calendar earlier on. So this is what he made for us. This is why my fans are the best fans. Love this guy. What's that?
Where's my one?
Well, but nobody wants to see it, do they? Let's just be honest. Nobody wants to see it. So, yeah, I mean, enjoying having a good hard look at that. So, yeah, look at that. It's frighteningly accurate as well. Like, if we were to go back, like, before esports.
As if you were that ripped. You were just burly as fuck.
Yeah, I was burly. Yeah, that's right. But one time I distinctly had an ab. I definitely found an ab, so there you go. But anyway, let's do one more call, and then we'll get the fuck out of here. I'm going to go to hospital, I think.
Trick2G just got announced as the analyst for CLG, so we're going to bring in old Frank Taylor, who we had on last week, I think. Fuck yeah, I'm allowed to bring one regular on, suck all the knobs. And he wants to talk about why Hotshot GG is fucking stupid, so that's a good line.
And... I'm on the fucking I'm on the shit list now. So hello, Frankie boy.
You're very quiet.
How's it going?
Yeah, here he is. How you doing, Frankie?
Less drunk this week, so hopefully more eloquent. Who knows?
Well, I'm glad. I'm fucked. Like I'm ripped to the tits on cold meds and margaritas.
Hang on, we've got some internet issues.
That's all right. You just take your time. I'm just gonna be drinking.
Just gonna deal with my demons.
Yep. Just get those demons.
What's going on with it?
It's all right. You take your time. You take your time, mate.
All right, there we go. It seems to have fixed itself.
All right, excellent. So, Frankie, you want to talk about this Trick2G announcement? And apparently, he's now an analyst for CLG.
Yeah. Okay, so the internet seems to have fixed itself, then broke, then fixed itself again. So let's see how this works.
Cool.
So you obviously just broke that they'd be running the 7-man roster, which I didn't know. I did actually know and hear from a few people about the Pobelter Link switch off. I didn't know about Stix A. I knew he'd been scrimming with them. I didn't know they decided to run 7 with him.
I think he's on the paperwork. But what's interesting is
what the hell is going on with?
A few sources have said that maybe Link isn't. Maybe Link isn't on the paperwork. So.
Well. How about
I don't know what's going on with this guy. The fuck. I fucking despise AT&T.
Fuck up Skype.
I can still hear you, actually. Yeah, you, at no point have you dropped from the call, Frankie. So if you just talk through the pain, we can probably get to the point.
All right. So, really just so the news broke, 1, that they'd be running the 7-man roster, and 2, that they were hiring Trick2G on as analyst. And I think it may have come out through hints last week when I was talking about PR that I'm one of those disheartened, disappointed, suicidal CLG fans that's just been disappointed routinely by the management and the roster since basically season 1, when they were actually relevant in early season 2. And this might be the dumbest thing they've done in the past 2 years, right? So Seraph horrible disaster. Good idea in theory. Bring in an untapped player from a region who was almost unknown. Zion Spartan, good pickup. Dexter, good pickup. Keeping Link the first 2 or so splits, good idea. Obviously, we know he's talented. He just says it's just showing up when important matches. Maybe he'd get it figured out. At this point, it's been 5 splits, and they're keeping Link on the roster. Maybe he will be their backup in case Pobelter sucks. Maybe Pobelter, as sitting there behind him, will light a fire under his ass to actually show up when it matters. But really, at this point, he's a known quantity. Second, they're keeping Xmithy. Now, I'm all for giving everyone a second chance. We know Xmithy used to be a strong player from Season 3, but in the entirety of this split, he really never was a strong player. I mean, when the team was doing well, a lot of his weaknesses were masked by the fact that his team was just dominating across the map. All he really had to go do was drop a Warden River at the enemy blue buff, enemy red buff, and then wait for Aframu to go make a giant play on someone. But he never was an elite jungler in the area. I mean, hell, Dexter and St. Vicious are the only elite junglers that CLG has ever had. Stixxay, I actually think, is an interesting pickup. That's the only sort of shining light out of this, is that double lift, I don't think, has been an issue on the team. I think he's underperformed sometimes, he's overperformed sometimes. Maybe he's part of the reason the team environment is so bad. He's known to be a bit cocky and a bit of a dick, but he's never been the weakest player, anywhere close to the weakest player on the team. He shows up when it matters. He always performs well. And seeing them sign Stixxay, I actually think is a good thing, because that shows potentially that CLG is willing to replace a great player with a better player. So I know maybe they scrim with Stixxay and it was great. But then again, you have to go back to Trick 2G and what the fuck
okay, so just to interrupt on a few points. So the first thing I gotta stress at this juncture.
God damn it!
Out. Can you not hear me? All right. Well, I'll just talk. I'll just talk anyway. All right. So the point is that the Trick 2G thing hasn't been officially announced in any capacity. I don't think it's actually been announced by CLG yet, and I think the only thing that even makes anyone think it's legit, even though it's been talked about for 2 or 3 sources, is this screenshot of Aframu saying, which I would consider highly dubious.
Right.
So I don't necessarily believe that Trick2G is an analyst. The other thing I want to say is as well, we're talking about the Pobelter in mid. Now, the way it's going to work is they signed Huhi. Link won't... Well, if my sources are accurate, they've signed Huhi and Pobelter in mid, and Link isn't going to be part of the equation anymore.
Really? I had just made the assumption that Hotshot was so fucking stupid that it was going to be Link. That's actually encouraging, because I think with that, you get the fact that Pobelter is at least a somewhat known quantity and that he will never completely drop the ball and fail to perform. He has yet to perform to the heights that some people say he can, but he's never dropped to just being completely irrelevant in a game. With Huhi, he was actually doing pretty damn well in the challenger scene. I know they tried him out before he left, so that's encouraging. As for the Trick 2G thing, though, I know someone had said that it was accidentally leaked to Esportspedia, Gamepedia, whichever one's the relevant one that hasn't sort of been left to rot by the owners who went to found the other one, is that Trick 2G was signed on as analyst and then it was quickly taken down. So that's where I'm getting is that, as opposed to the in-game shit from Aframu, because that seemed to be pretty clear.
Yeah, I heard about that as well. I mean, look, there is a chance here that it's a series of unfortunate links, but if I was a betting man, I would say that Trick 2G is going to be involved somehow with CLG, but I don't know what it's going to be. I think maybe as a featured streamer, because there was that weird thread from I'm Gosu, and we all know he was a featured streamer in CLG. So I don't know, maybe there's some partnership going on. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just a big troll, because as we all know, CLG in a position now where they want to fuck with journalists. They've taken quite a lot of umbrage with everything that the journalists have been doing lately. So it could just be one massive troll. I literally wouldn't put that past CLG. And they're trying to throw crumbs out to make a fucking reporter pick up the story. Maybe to trick Jacob Wolf, who they love dearly, into picking up the story and making it official. I certainly haven't heard about Trick Trick2G in an official CLG capacity, and his name hasn't been brought up while I've been doing my digging into their 7-man roster. So, just saying. But which isn't to say it's not valid to criticize Hotshot. I mean, if it is true, I'd agree with you. I think it would be fucking ridiculous. I love Trick, but come on. You know what I mean?
All right, so I only got a couple of sentences out of that because AT&T is a wonderful company and Skype's an amazing program. But I guess the transition from that, based on what I could have gathered, was I just want to talk in general about the 7-man roster idea in LCS and how I also think that that's extremely stupid. So the go-to here is, first of all, that LCS is not best of 3, it's not best of 5, and that once your roster is submitted for the week, it's locked for the week. So the entire point of this 7-man roster that SKT is running, I guess it's actually 8, but Peekaboo's been injured for most of the season, was that you put in someone for a few games, right? So you put in EasyHoon for 2 games, and then you go, well, they're not really tunneling mid lane. EasyHoon's not exactly winning the 1v1. We want to run some champions that are in Faker's pool. We sub out EasyHoon, we put in Faker. The problem is that you can't adjust on the fly like that in LCS. The best of 1 is over, and it's over, and you're running the same roster the next day. So say Pobelter shits the bed, he's still playing the next day. Say that teams have realized they can tunnel him, he's still playing the next day. So you don't have that ability to use the on-the-fly adaptation that the normal 7-man roster strength gives you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've said this for the longest time. I think more and more esports do need to sort of utilize squads rather than just everyone in their starting positions. I think that's very, very important to be able to do that and to change things up. So I definitely agree with you. But look, I tell you what, Frank, I'm going to cut this call short because you're having internet problems.
Yep.
I'm having health problems. The listeners are having problems. Everyone's got a problem, but we'll definitely get you in again and we'll talk about it. And you know what? Maybe by next week, Hotshot has done the unthinkable and Trick2G is a fucking analyst. And then we've got real problems. And then you can call in and rip into him, tear him a new asshole.
Well, if that happens, good? I may have just offed myself as a CLG fan just out of depression. But yeah, hopefully next week my internet will be better.
Well, yeah, just we'll send you if it does happen, we'll send you out a little courtesy. Are you all right? One of them, we'll drop you a line. But anyway, look, you look after yourself. Hope your internet gets better. Fingers crossed the unthinkable doesn't happen. And no doubt I'll speak to you next week one way or the other.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one.
All right, all the best, Frankie boy. Take care. Right.
I bring on one regular and it goes to piss. All right, everyone was right. No more regulars. Fucked it.
Yeah.
He's fucked it.
Anyway, Sam, what do you make of all of this CLG shebang?
If I actually bring on Trick2G as an analyst, fucking joke. Like, come on. People always, I'm sick of hearing the argument like, there's no good coaches or analysts. Yeah, because you're not fucking paying anyone to do it. Like, you can't just search and grab one out of thin air. Oh, this guy's perfect. I'll just start paying him and then he'll do the job. You have to, like, nurture the talent. It's such a young industry. You're not going to find fucking people who are perfect straight away.
What about the Saint Vicious return?
Return
as coach or something?
Yeah, I think he'd be a good coach, actually. I think people, I don't know. He'd be, like, he's a authoritative figure, but I don't think people respect him. Like, if you're like a top jungler and he's talking to you out of jungler, you're really gonna listen. You're like, fuck you, you can't even hit smites. Nah. Like, how childish a lot of the players are. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. But still, I mean, that's not what you'd be teaching them. You wouldn't be teaching them how to smite, would you? Like, like, right, okay, what you do is you stand here and you wait until it's got way too much health. You press it now.
Press it now.
And then it gets stolen. Okay, no, right, no. Let's try that again. We do it the other way, and we press it now after the other pressed his smite and took it. Yeah, I don't think it works like that. So, but anyway, we should probably wrap up the show. Sorry if it was a bit below par for my usual standards. As you can tell, I'm really
standards.
Sick.
So
I use that term loosely. I've got a show to do on the weekend, so I don't want to overexert myself. I'm pretty ill. So I think what we need to do is we need to end on some sad news. We were going to mention about it last week, but it passed me by. Now, a lot of you, this won't mean anything to you, but if you're my age, you might have grown up with a guy called Keith Harris. He was a ventriloquist, and he used to have a duck called Orville as one of his puppets. And Orville was a duck who used to wear a nappy. And the thing about Orville was he couldn't fly, but he could really. It was just a confidence issue. So Keith Harris, for all of us kids who had confidence issues, basically did this show where Orville the duck would talk about his inadequacies, and Keith Harris would be there and be like, no, you can, you got this, you totally got this, bro. And without the message of Keith Harris and Orville, I might have turned out to be less of a cunt. And that would be horrible. Esports would be a worse place. So press F to pay respects. We're going to end on one of Keith Harris's best bits. It's called I Wish I Could Fly. I'm going to raise a glass to the great man now. Join in. We'll see you next week.
I wish I could fly way up to the sky, but I can't.
You can?
I can't. I wish I could see what folks see in me, but I can't.
You can.
I can't.
Look, Orville,
Yes,
now that I'm here with you, there's nothing that you can't do. So why don't you make a start?
I will.
Hear what I'm saying, Orville?
Yes,
Who is your very best friend?
you are.
I'm gonna help you mend your broken heart.
Thank you. I wish that I had a mummy and dad, but I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I often pretend my sadness will end, but it won't.
It will.
It won't.
Look, Orville,
Yes,
nothing that you can say will change how I feel today. You know that we're never apart.
you won't.
Hear what I'm saying, Orville?
Yes,
Who is your very best friend?
you are.
I'm gonna help you mend your broken heart.
Oh, so does this mean although I'm green and not exactly bright, you want to care and will be there to tuck me in at night?
But I'll always be there, Orville.
The other birds laugh and say that I'm daft, and I am.
You're not.
I am. They tease me a lot and call me a clot, and I am.
You're not.
I am.
Look, Orville,
Yes,
nothing that you can say will change how I feel today. You know that we're never apart.
we won't.
Hear what I'm saying, Orville?
Yes,
Who is your very best friend?
you are.
I'm gonna help you mend your broken heart.
Thank you. 'Cause I got a broken heart, haven't
I know, but you know I'm gonna help you mend it.
You will, won't you?
Of course I will.
'Cause you love me, don't you?
Well, we all love you. We all love him, don't we?
Thank you.
There you are.
How much do you love me?
How much?
Yes,
Oh, this much.
as much as that.
As much as that.
My